taking a selfie of the James Taylor. They were trying to sneak out early.
Are we
We're
good,
ready?
Jen?
Call to order the September 9th, 2024 business meeting that stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's nice you take your hat off this time.
Mr. Burgoyne? Mrs. Lemon?
Here.
Mr. Metallic?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Mr. Shalinski?
Here.
Mrs. Secco?
Here.
Mr. Taz?
Here.
Mrs. Walsh?
Here.
Mrs. Snatchko?
Here.
Thank you.
Section 2, student reports and achievements. Nobody on the agenda tonight. Section 3, routine business. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the business meeting dated August 12th, 2024 as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Shalinski, the second from Mrs. Sucko. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any questions on the agenda tonight? May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Shalinski, the second by Mrs. Secco. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 3.4, public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening? Section 4, reports and presentations. Administration reports are attached. Section 4.3, solicitor, Mr. Bergeron.
The report was all attached.
Thank you. Section 4.4, Mr. Pushkar.
Thank you. I'm gonna go back and, well, this is gonna be a combination, correspondence and my report. That's okay. We received a letter dated August 14th, 2024 from PSBA. Dear Mr. Pushkar, PSBA's Honor Roll of School Board Service Program celebrates school board directors for long-term service and recognizes their dedication to their local districts and communities. Bestowing a certificate represents our appreciation for their work and their steadfast commitment to their students. This year, the Honor Roll program celebrates 40 years of recognizing our long-term school leaders, and with this anniversary comes some exciting updates to the program. Now, when school directors reach 5 years of service and for every 5 years thereafter, PSBA is pleased to offer them an Honor Roll certificate. Certificates for your board members who have reached these milestones are enclosed, and we encourage you to present the certificate to the public meeting. When a school director reaches 20 years of service, they begin to receive plaques to honor their service at that milestone and every 5 years thereafter. These are often presented by PSBA representatives during the school board meeting of your choice. If a member of your board is eligible for a plaque this year, please contact PSBA. Enclosed, you will find the 2024 Honor Roll of School Board Service Program certificates. And so I have those for Mrs. Lemon, 5 years of service. Mrs. Lonnie Snatchko.
Well, thank you.
And Mr. Burgoyne will be getting a 5-year service as well. And as for my report, I just want to say that I felt we had a very good opening to the school year. The teachers, the staff, the administration, everybody worked very hard to make sure that we pulled it off. I always said when I was a building principal, especially on that first day, everybody has a place to go, even if it's not the right place, but a place to go. We can go from there. And everybody had a place to go, and for the most part, the right place. Students, the same thing, everything's going well, so we're off and running. And that's it for my report.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, sorry, executive session.
Ooh, I forgot that. We did have an executive session prior to the meeting for personnel and legal counseling.
Thank you, Mrs. Nampa. Thank you, Mr. Pushkar. May I have a motion to approve all administrative reports as presented?
Second.
Mr. Shalinski, second by Mrs. Secco. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 5, Budget and Finance, Mr. Taz.
5.1, payment of bills. I'd like to make a motion to ratify a list of bills for September 2024 as presented.
That's a motion. May I have a second? Second, Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
5.2, financial statement. I'd like to make a motion to accept the financial statement as presented and placed on file for audit.
May I have a second? Second, Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
5.3, inventory control. I'd like to make a motion to permit the donation, sale, and or disposal of outdated OUR books, quantity of 718, Open Up Resources, publisher, copyright 2019.
May I have a second? Second, Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to permit the donation, sale, and or disposal of the listed outdated library books as attached.
May I have a second? Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 6, Education. Mrs. Lemon.
Good evening. Under 6.1, the Health and Safety Report, nothing to report at this time. 6.2, the enrollment report can be found on board docs. 6.3, the guidance newsletters are accessible by grade and the links are located online as well. 6.4, professional development. I'd like to make a motion, please, to approve the list of professional development as presented with costs to be paid by Title II. Caitlin Warner to attend RMU Trees Network Special Education Conference virtually on the following date, October 14th of 2024. The only expense for this will be for a substitute.
May I have a second? Second, Mr. Shalinski. Any questions?
Is she a teacher?
She is.
Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
6.5, agreements. I'd like to make a motion, please, to ratify the letter of agreement with Washington Drug and Alcohol Commission Incorporated to provide a designated SAP, which stands for Student Assistance Program, Certified Prevention Specialist.
Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2, I'd like to make a motion, please, to extend the tolling agreement in a special education matter as approved by the board at the August 12th, 2024 regular meeting through October 16th, 2024, and authorize and direct the superintendent to approve such future extensions of said tolling agreement as may be in the best interests of the school district.
Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, I'd like to make a motion, please, to approve the participation agreement with Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency relative to the student teacher compensation program.
It's a motion. Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion, please, to approve the student affiliation agreement with West Virginia University Board of Governors on behalf of West Virginia University and its School of Nursing relative to field experience for students enrolled in courses at WVU.
Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And number 5, I'd like to make a motion, please, to approve the contract for athletic training services between Juan Sedler Physical Therapy and Specialization Health and the Burgettstown Area School District pending final review by the superintendent and the solicitor.
Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions?
Yeah,
All in-
Juan Sedler, they don't know the one location? How did we get set on that? Is it just?
So when we learned that Novacare was severing ties, Nathan had some conversations with some other athletic directors who said One Settler was going to provide the services for Bentworth, and that was their first dive into it, and then they were going to expand, so I think it's kind of.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, oh, we got Butler, I was just.
Yeah,
wondering how
that's
that-
why they're looking to expand. so.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
6.6, student and faculty handbooks. I'd like to make a motion, please, to approve the elementary student and faculty handbooks for the 24-25 school year.
Second?
Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And 6.7, club/activities. I would like to make a motion, please, to approve a change in the name of the Child Care Club to Educators Rising Club.
Second?
Second by Mr. Shalinski. Any questions?
Why do we have to approve that?
Yeah, why?
Why can't they just change it now?
Well, we've always approved the changes of names, and those have a very small pay that go with them for the teachers.
Okay.
The reason for the change, though, is that this is part of, an initiative to maybe look at increasing the pipeline of teachers, so that was more good in there.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 7, personnel, Mr. Price.
Excuse me, under personnel, item number 7.2 deals with resignations. I'll take both of them together. Don Belaga, A5 Science Department Chair, Ruth Goldberg, co-sponsor. This is a resignation effective August 27th, 2024. And Kayla Thompson, a teacher, resignation, last day September 6th of 2024. That's the motion.
May I have a second? Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
7.3, excuse me, deals with employment. Motion number 1, motion to approve Rachel Miller to the position of school nurse, a BS Step 1, prorated salary beginning September 11th, 2024, pending receipt of all paperwork, conditioned upon completion of all orientation induction activities, as well as issuance of certificate by PDE. Motion.
Second, Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, Kirsten Dyer to the position of teacher, step 1, M/ME, with the start date to be determined, pending receipt of all paperwork, conditioned upon completion of all orientation and induction activities. That's a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3, Jessica Donohue to the position of paraprofessional, with the start date to be determined, pending receipt of all paperwork. That's a motion.
May I have a second? Second, Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mrs. Martini wasn't sure if she was gonna ask a question.
For Kirsten Dreyer, what position is that? Is that high school or elementary?
Elementary.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
7.4 deals with additional compensation. The recommended action is a motion to approve the listed additional compensation as presented. I'll take them all together. Item number 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
7.5, leaves of absence. Motion to approve Amanda Frank, cafeteria monitor, for the following unpaid days: September 5th, September 19th, September 23rd, and December 10th of 2024. That's a motion.
Second.
Second, Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 8, athletic and activities, Mr. Vitale.
8.1, the athletic report is available on board docs. 8.2, I'd like to make a motion to recognize the following as a youth organization in the Burgettstown Area School District. A, Burgettstown Area Youth Basketball Association for boys, and B, Burgettstown Youth Girls Basketball.
It's a motion, may I have a second? Mr. Shalinski, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 9, transportation, Mrs. Sefferth.
Everything to be found online on reports.
Thank you. Section 10, buildings and grounds, Mr. Taz.
10.1, the building grounds report is attached. We did have a building grounds meeting last week to discuss some items relating to the baseball and football field, scoreboard, the memorials of the Prada and tar plaques as well. We still need to look into dates for those, for the dedication. That's not senior night or
And there's a youth night in there too.
preferably not that, then.
Alright. Thank you. Section 11, Western Area Career and Technology Center, Mrs. Secco.
They will be having an open house on Thursday, the 19th, starting at 5 p.m. All are welcome to attend. Western Area is also looking into a new program for drone technologies, which is getting quite a stir among the students. And our next JOC meeting is going to be September 25th.
Thank you. Section 12, food service, Mrs. Walsh.
food service report is available online.
Thank you. 13, student discipline, nothing to report. Section 14, policy, Mr. Shalinski.
14.1 is just the first reading of policy 708, which will be found online. 14.2 is the final reading, motion to approve the list of policy as presented. Policy 807, opening exercise movement of silence flag displays.
It's a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Secco, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Section 15, old business, new business. May I have a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Timothy Burgoyne, board member, effective September 9th, 2024?
Second.
Second, Mr. Shalinski. What, no, you moved it, right?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kaz. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to advertise the school board vacancy for Region 1?
Did you already say?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Misunderstood.
Mr. Shalinski, Mr. Kaz again, any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
So,
Did we set a date? No.
We're gonna talk about that.
can I bring something up under old business, new business?
Sure.
So I'm not sure if every district's aware, but so with the Lions organization on the WPYFL. So the issue I have here is the Lions don't technically lease our stadium, the WPYFL does. And I don't think it's fair to us or any of the other districts that have their field used by their youth programs technically being rented out by the league instead of Lions or any other of
Well,
this.
there's no money exchanged. They're not running it.
Does that fall under their liability or anything?
They're keeping the gate, the YPF, the
Oh, yeah.
WPYFL is keeping the gate, so they're taking all the money from the organizations.
That's
So,
what the organizations agree to do that.
I understand, but
And
we are not renting it out to the Lions at that point, we're renting it out to that organization.
Does that organization cover like liability insurance or?
I mean, I'm sure they
anything like
cover a
that?
lot of things, but they're still running it off of us through the Lions.
And I think what they do to
Yeah.
get around that is they give a little bit of the pot.
Yeah, they give a little bit back, but
Yeah,
it's still BS, because they're still taking away from our program down there, and they're still leasing it through the Lions, not the Lions leasing it off of us. The issue I have is basically they're just taking all the money from these organizations and keeping it for themselves, and, you know,
but that's really,
I get it's their issue,
Yeah.
but it's still our problem as well. And all these other districts.
In what way is it our problem from a policy standpoint?
Because that's,
What
okay,
issues?
that's like me going to the Lions and saying, like, and me creating an alumni game and doing it through the Lions, essentially. Because they're the ones that have the field.
But I agree with him on this, like, if there is an agreement that they're using our facility, then that
Mhm.
agreement should be under their name, not the Lions. Because ultimately, if there's a liability, if there's an
Mhm.
insurance, if there's damage or anything like that, it would technically fall under the person that is running it. And if
Right.
the Lions aren't technically running it, then it would fall under them.
Right.
So I agree with that,
Yeah.
with that.
I look at it from a financial standpoint, you have how many people are using the restrooms, you know, you have the electricity use, but we get no money back for helping to cover those costs, but they're taking all the gate.
And they're taking all the money from the youth organization,
Right.
so I totally.
I have no issue with the Lions down
I
there.
just feel like
and
it's
anything
not
like
our.
Right, right.
It's not our fight.
But it kind of is, because they're
They're using
using
the
our
facilities.
facility. And they're not, like,
So
none of
for
our
us,
organizations
the
are
Lions
getting the money
agree to
from
that,
using the
correct?
facility.
I mean,
So
that's their,
the issue.
that's their organization that they belong to, so they have agreement with them in order, that's how they get payment, I mean, insurance for their players and coaches and so forth, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess I would look at it as, you know, if you have a little league, if you have a little league baseball team, that's paying money to Little League itself in
Mhm.
Williamsport,
Right.
but Little League uses our fields, we wouldn't charge, because of the way the policy is, and that is that our kids in our youth organizations can use it free of charge. We wouldn't say, well, because you have to pay membership to Little League, the parent company.
But that's totally different, because that's a set price. And if you're charging, if they were charging admission at a baseball game out there, Little League wouldn't get it.
So I
Well-
think maybe one of the first things we did to stop them kind of abusing us is,
This has nothing to do with the Lions, this is the
I
100%
know,
shot at
is that
this governing body or whatever.
we're not letting that governing, we haven't given approval to that governing body to use our
Mhm.
facility as a neutral site. So that's, you know,
Yeah.
one thing that we were kind of like, well, you don't give us anything in return. We would never go against our own kids,
Right.
deny them the right to play on our field, but we're not gonna, you can find your own neutral
Right.
sites.
But didn't we have this issue last year in the playoffs?
The playoff,
Right.
you know, that's not so much the issue, I just, the whole,
Same thing, right?
the whole thing about it is my problem, because how many other districts are they doing this to?
Well, all of them.
All-
I
every-
think, how many are
everyone
in
that
the
they
league
got.
now, 44?
Yeah.
No, 90 something, there's over 90.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought it was 44.
It's a
It's all
single, it's
basically all
pretty much, it all,
WPIL.
any school in the, well, almost every school in Whitfield is in the Western Pennsylvania Youth Football League.
Right.
So are they having to pay the referees?
Everything's covered by the league, but they're still taking the game.
Well, I mean,
you know.
is the league paying the referees?
That's what I mean, is
That's-
like,
yeah, they
are the
are.
Lions
I mean,
paying?
that's
the
the same,
referees?
that's,
Or the,
yeah.
I think the
the governing, governing body.
Right, okay,
I don't
but
wanna
you go to
miss
some of the, say you go to a quad A school and there's
I know.
200 kids and you have 3,000 people in the stands, like,
That-
it's, you
That's
know,
more on the organization.
I get it's more, but as the school districts, we can stop these organizations from abusing.
Then the kids might not be able to
And
play
so-
anywhere, they play all away games.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to stop, I'm not trying to stop the line, I'm saying you'd have to come together as like 10 to 15 school districts, say, hey, and then,
Yeah, he's not going against the Lions
Yeah.
directly, this is
yes, it's not.
the
Yeah.
umbrella that's controlling it.
Well, that would have to be from something from Steve, he would have to go superintendent and that type of stuff, but.
But he's wanting to go after the umbrella.
He
that's
wouldn't though,
overseeing.
because
Yeah.
they're not, I see what you're saying, they're using our facilities, but they're not under our policies or jurisdiction, we don't sponsor them.
I get it,
You know,
I understand.
that would have to be a grass movement, I think, of parents and
Organization.
organizations,
See,
officers to be like, you know, we're done with you, whatever you are, gonna be whatever.
How much are they
whatever.
paying them?
what are the gates for?
I know, well, how much, so what is the gate? Anybody know?
$5 a person to get in, so you have 3 games, so you figure at least 100 people a game, both fans, so.
We
There's more
figured
than
that
100
there,
I mean, at least, so
Yeah.
500 times, at least 1,500.
we figured with the amount of teams, that they're probably making the league $67,000 a weekend. But I mean,
Start
that's,
our own league.
Seriously.
You can, you have to do it.
he's like, get on it.
You really
I
can't
still
do
want an
that.
ATM,
There is no
Zach,
issue.
so let's go with that
It's
first.
just an enormous undertaking.
Yeah, I just,
So you just brought that up to make everybody sad and?
no, I just thought that, no, I figured if Steve, I would like Steve to make a couple of phone calls and see it, because not every district has, like, North Allegheny doesn't have, and the only reason I know that because it was up there, like, they don't, the kids don't use their field, but they have other fields that they use.
They have like a youth.
Yes, they have youth, like, the bigger districts obviously have those youth, I just.
I can get a copy of the Lions schedule, at least find out who some of the other teams are. And then
And just
maybe
see-
find out
just see if they're
how they
part-
handle facilities use.
That's it, yeah.
If we start that way.
I would think though that for Cherry, Avella, South St. Beaver, schools that are similar to us are in this.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And I'm not saying, hey, I wanna kick the Lions off, that has nothing to do, they're being abused by this league. And whether they're not, you know, they're still part of our community, is the
Right.
thing. So that's kinda how I'm looking at
And it's a chain reaction of those orders.
it. Right.
I have
And
one question.
speaking of what, I was just gonna go along with the whole thing with Zach. Can we get an ATM? I've been asking for, I don't know how many years now. I want an ATM. It doesn't have to be a big charge. But when we have sports up here, we do not accept cards for wrestling tournaments, for basketball tournaments, for anything. And you have large amounts of people that could be spending that money.
Well, we were at the.
Actually, with the digital.
Yeah,
But I'll tell
We could be
you,
making a lot of money
With
off
the
What I
digital
like
ticketing,
even
though, we
better-
do now
The
use
digital
cards
ticket,
there.
yeah,
for the
but
football games, but what about like?
I'm
That's
talking
gonna be
about
for
up here.
basketball
And,
yeah, it's
okay.
gonna be for all of ours.
It's gonna be, but if
I would
it's-
still, regardless, I would still have an ATM.
here's,
I
here's,
do.
I'll defer
We
to
sell
Jamie
t-shirts
on that.
and concessions.
if I
and all
could
that
say
stuff,
something,
there's-
I have been at several, over the past weekends, band festivals, football games, whatever, that the district has set up Venmo, then no one's touching any money. You don't have parents taking the money in the concession stands. You don't have this exchange of someone taking it to you. It's eliminating cash altogether, and they're using Venmo that's set up directly to the
And
machine.
you just showed your phone that you sent the Venmo. However, there are still small.
Yeah, I still
still
wouldn't
can-
do
I still can cash.
But I
No.
don't just not go to the concession stand.
Because at a concession stand, you've got kids running up there
I
paying.
also heard
Yeah.
that the PIAA is gonna require everybody to be completely cashless no matter what.
Really, I haven't heard that.
I don't know how you.
I don't know how,
Law
because when
that.
you've got like kindergartners running up to a concession stand, wanting a sucker for 25 cents,
Yeah, there's-
it's not, it's almost impossible. to
good
do.
luck trying to enforce that.
But Janie, you have looked into the ATM with,
Washington Financial,
And
and
they,
total.
yeah, they said,
pretty much, but it's not,
that's,
costs too much.
You
yeah,
need
it's-
to put, like, get, like, basically.
That's why-
Honestly, well,
Fair enough.
honestly, the school, why is the school district, we can buy one? Can we buy one?
But then who, I think that when you have someone else that maintains it,
No, yeah.
that takes us off the hook
Yeah.
financially.
and there's a fee that can be put on there, and most, any bank would punish it, like if you get a fee, like you're getting it back from everybody.
But you have, I mean, you have your individual people too that have their own businesses, that's all they do is just sell the domains. But, I mean, the school district, the only thing I look at is you would make money with it.
I think
You
it
Then
just
would
we
are-
set the fee where you split it.
Did you try
Yeah, you could do that as well.
But
Yeah.
even taking that out of the equation, you would still have people spending more money at concession
Right.
stands, at, events and stuff like that, so. So that, and I just also wanted to say the new website, I think it is a great start. I can't wait to see what it goes up to. And it's nice to see the calendars and everything starting to be more updated.
Maybe they're getting
So-
populated pretty
So,
soon.
so it looks really nice, so thanks.
I just had a question on the school board at the football field. Did they ever get back to you?
I have a virtual meeting with them either tomorrow or Wednesday to say what our next steps, because obviously it's not working.
All right. Legislative, Mr. Metallic, or did we do that already?
Nothing to
No.
report.
Okay, sorry. So before we close the meeting and adjourn, we need to pick a date, we need to recess and reconvene to appoint somebody to Region One, since we accepted the resignation this evening. I threw out a couple dates, the first and the eighth, didn't seem, those were 2 Tuesdays, didn't seem to work very well for anybody. Wednesdays seem to not be great. Well, let's start here. Nick, what day can you not make it?
What time are we looking?
I mean, I was trying to have it at like 4 with a quorum,
I
so
should
we
be able to
could do
make
it and it'd be short and sweet,
4, I should be good any day.
but I don't know if we can do it 4.
So by September 9th, you were looking at the 25th, or how long do we have to advertise for it, and are the people putting stuff in?
It has to be advertised for 30 days, but if we get an applicant, we can accept it for 30 days.
September 25th is not fun.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Anytime
Within 30
Within
days.
30 We don't have to wait till the 30 days. The sooner the better. To get somebody in front of it.
25th is fine, should be able to fit
That's a
in everything.
Wednesday.
25th on Western area, JSC meeting.
24th. 24th, Tuesday?
Yes.
What time?
Well, that was
Teresa, what
gonna be
time
my
are you
next question.
available? I know you said 4 o'clock was too tough for you.
Yeah, I mean, if it, I'll just try to rearrange the day. I don't
Can you
care.
do 6, Teresa?
Yeah, I can do 6.
Like this time,
Yes.
Everybody else go with 6?
on the 24th?
6 on the 24th.
So we're gonna reconvene on 9/24 at 6 p.m.
Do you mind sending a message out on that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to recess and reconvene on September 9th at 6 p.m.? On the 24th, sorry. All right.
Wait, who made it first and who made it second?
Mrs. Sacco made it first, and everybody on this side made it second.
So did Bill.
Pick one.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, folks.
let me know.